Welcome back. It's Tim and Katrina.
We're back. We're on a different day, but we're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have moved to Thursdays with our podcast. We realized Fridays wasn't working when we couldn't do the whole month of February. Fridays was not working.
Yeah.
But we did see each other on a Friday in February.
We did.
So the reason we couldn't do a show, let's put the blame where the blame really goes, all right? It's our friends. It's not us.
Craig.
It's our friends.
Craig. It was all Craig's fault.
Craig Dustwalt and Tony Caruso. It was their fault we couldn't do shows.
I agree. Totally agree. Why not put the blame on others? Why should we take the full?
Because Craig Dustwalt will go, hell yeah, you mentioned my name on your podcast. I'll take that. Tony Caruso will do the same thing.
Exactly. So we'll be letting people know. We'll be putting things out there, letting people know that we're on Thursday now at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Yeah, I think 8 a.m.
Central Time.
Yeah, we're 8 a.m. Pacific and 10 a.m. Central, and then 11 a.m. Eastern. So
got it.
Yeah.
And 9 a.m. Mountain. And
this is all week long. By the way, Katrina, this is the earliest appointment I have all week long. I don't schedule anything before 11 a.m. But we did this because it was the only slot you and I could do.
Yep, me too. Things are revving up business-wise, revving. And
well, that's good. All right. So let me get some of the banners going here for our thing so people know who we are. So
I got stuff coming soon that I'll be advertising once we've got everything in place. But stay tuned.
So a couple things that because we haven't talked on here in a month. All right, and you know what I mean. You moved to New Mexico, and how's running your business from New Mexico doing?
It's been good. It's been very good. But it's just a little bit challenging because I'm trying to get into the networking scene and so forth, because there's not a lot of entrepreneurs out here. And that's my husband, by the way.
Yeah. Gotta love it when the husband stops by.
I know. There's not a lot of entrepreneurs that I have found yet. Okay. So I'm still working on that piece. And I joined the chamber. So that's coming along. I mean, just trying to get myself out there. And I know more and more entrepreneurs are starting to move into New Mexico, especially in Las Cruces. But it's still one of those, it's a brand new, canvas that's out there.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of opportunities. And so I'm trying to get that out there and going. And it's been, but I've got clients from California and I've got clients from other spots that have moved from California.
Yeah. A lot of them moving out of California, huh?
Yeah, so it's still working, and I've got a lot of really cool things coming down the pike that I'm really excited about that are going to be coming.
I mean, but now they're building your house, all right? How are they doing on the timeline for the house? I'm curious because a friend of mine here in Dallas, she's
frustrating.
She's 16 months into an 8-month build.
Oh my God, it's frustrating. Well, they're doing faster here than they were in other places.
Well, it all depends on what supplies are. Supplies are probably easier to get to from where you're at. But like here in Dallas, they're not as well. Apparently, like she's waiting on windows. They're held up right now because of windows. They can't enclose anything else inside because they can't get the windows to enclose the property.
Yeah. Well, my understanding here is the builder that's building this, he also builds commercial builds in this area. Yeah. So he has different connections than most builders do. And their builds go much quicker than most builds do. But I know it took about 3 months to get the foundation done, which was a little bit frustrating. I mean, you go up, we've been going up each weekend, and when you go up and all you see is a dirt lot, and you're still thinking, okay, that one's done, and that one's already on the build, and this one's doing this, and this one's doing that. Why isn't ours moving? But the nice thing about this particular build that's different, I think, than others, so I'm not sure, they don't get paid until they get to a certain process. And once they get to that process and it's signed off, then they get paid. And that's when it's fully wrapped and they've got the windows in, then they get their first check.
Okay.
Then they start the inside and they start doing the outside scratch and so forth. And you go through that and then they get their next check. And then the last one is when everything is done inside and you go through and the landscaping and so forth and you do your final check. So they're not getting paid until they get to that process.
Yeah.
So it would be them not to.
Yeah, that's like, you know, and the real estate I do is I buy properties to rent out and they're renovations. And I have access to the hard money loan to buy the property. And then the hard money access I have is per increments of what they do. All right. You know, I mean, the contractor has to finish the roof job to get his check. All right. And then I go to the hard money and I get, you know, another advance on my money. All right. To do it. And then once the job's done and signed off and I get somebody moved in, all right, it's usually within 30 days to 60 days, 30 days usually, that my finance guy is turning the hard money loan into a mortgage. So I mean, concept, just different. Yeah. Just different stages. I mean, it's just the way they are. And that motivates your contractors to get the work done because they don't get paid till they reach a certain stage and it's signed off on.
Exactly. And so a lot of it had to do with COVID and because they were the person who comes out and does the inspecting. And my understanding is there's 3 inspections they have to go through for the foundation. First, they have to do the layout, measure and make sure that they haven't gone over the property line, that they're within the property line and so on and so forth. Then they go in and do the piping. They got to check all that, make sure the piping's in the right spot and this and so forth. Then they lay it and then they have to go through and inspect that too. So it's all these different things. And my understanding is the inspector got COVID.
Oh man. Yeah.
So, you know, he was out of the realm for a little bit. He's the only inspector in the area. So they had to wait for that. So it's just, you know, it is what it is. It's our world right now, a matter of when one thing happens, then something else happens. And it kind of ties into what our topic we're talking about today.
Some of our topics today. Yeah.
But some of our topics today and how, you know, as a world and as a business, it's kind of like a domino effect. We're all connected. And when that one domino starts to fall, it starts to go, as we know.
Well, and yeah, but I mean, I think about this, Katrina. I mean, when we started closing things up for COVID, when it happened in 2020, I can see spots how that was going to affect down the line.
Yeah.
That's because I'm a business person, all right, and I look at it. Now, I don't fully understand the supply chain because it's not my studies that I do, but I understand business, all right? And by looking at your food chain, right, is the basic society to look at this. All right.
Yeah.
You have food on your table because you got it from the grocery store. Well, the grocery store has it because they got it from a trucker. The trucker got it because it was coming from a farm. Right? The farm had it because they fed the cows. All right. You know what I mean? It's an assembly process. And most of us don't realize the problems we are facing today in business, all right, are going to affect problems that are going to come up in 2024. Right. All right. And you know, I think it's interesting as we talk about news story today that, I mean, I made the joke all week. I seen the meme and I wished I should have got the meme ready to go on the show today was the Forrest Gump sitting on a bench going, and just like that, COVID was gone.
Yeah.
Because it's a news story. COVID is not over. It's going to be with us for a long time.
And that's the interesting part. Yeah. That's the interesting part is it seems like when you look at the news and so forth, the world is managing things based on what is that news story.
News story, yeah.
What's that main news story? And for the longest time, it's been COVID. Yeah. And we understand that, and we understand what's been going on and so on and so forth. We're not negating any of that, but that was the biggest story. And now, as we know, and you know, my hearts go out, my prayers go out to these people. Now it's the war between Russia and the Ukraine, which I completely do not understand why Russia's there in the first place. I know that they have a lot of resources in the Ukraine that I'm sure Russia wants to take over, but they were friends. I mean, they were.
Well, at least we thought they were friends. We don't know. We don't live there. All right.
No, we don't. We don't. But that was the assumption that we made is that they were neighbors, they were friends. And it's just astounding seeing the various different videos that are coming out of the Ukraine and what the Ukrainians are doing. And my God, their bravery, my hat's off to them. My hat's off to them. They love their country so much that they're putting themselves in peril to keep their country the way it is. And sometimes it makes me wonder, if something happened like that in the United States, how much would we really put ourselves on the line to
remember
protect
9/11? I'm sorry. Remember 9/11?
Yeah.
I don't care what side of the political aisle you were on in 9/11. We were Americans. We stood up for America.
And look how much it brought us together.
Yeah. I you know what I mean? I'm more on the right side of the politics. I'm not a full Republican, but I'm more on the right side. But I guarantee you, my left side people who disagree with me on stuff would be the person standing next to me with a helmet on, a gun in hand to fight for my
Let's do this.
right?
Let's do
because,
this.
And the sad part about it is, in America, I hope it does not come down to the fact that we have to get attacked again to stand and unify together, to understand the fact that we live in a country that you and I can have totally different beliefs, and we have the freedom to have that.
And
That's
to talk
what the
about
Ukrainians
it.
are fighting for right
and
now.
To talk about it, that we have the freedom to talk
we have the freedom
about
to talk about it. That's right.
Right now, and nobody is saying, nope, sorry, can't do that. Nope, sorry, can't do that. And that's what our ancestors worked so hard to get us, this freedom to do this right now, whether I agree with you or I disagree with you. That's our right to agree and disagree.
That's right.
It's our right. It's our freedom. And I think sometimes we've gotten away from that, where people have tried to put their mindset on others and do it's about that's part of the conversation. I agree with this or I disagree with that. It's part of the conversation. And I think all part of this is opening up and listening and hearing the other point and saying, you got a good point. However, what about this? You've got a good point. However, what about that? And so on and so forth, instead of, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. I think even though this
it's not saying you're wrong. All right. Here's what it is, hold on a second. I have to get
how would you put it?
What I believe is right for me. It may be wrong for you, but it's right for me.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think that's how we should all be in regards to when any conversation we go into, because I can't control you. You can't control me, nor should we. It's a matter of all we have. And we've talked about this. The only thing we have control over is our own actions, what comes out of our mouth, and what we do and what we decide to do in the universe or the world, whatever, how we decide to show up. That's all we can control. That's it. I can't control anything else around me but me. That's all I can control.
That's right.
And if we think we can control other people around us, we're sorely wrong with that, because they're a human being. They have a brain. It's up to them to do what they need to do, what's right for them, and you need to do what's right for you.
Well, let's go into this with the Ukraine a little bit, because I really, again, you and I don't understand the world they're in, and I do not understand what Putin's doing. All right. So I can't sit here and say Putin's wrong. I really can't. I can't, because I don't understand why he's doing this.
I don't either.
I understand it from what the news media is telling me to believe it's wrong. So it's like, in the beginning, I was like, I want to stand up for the Ukraine because I think this is wrong. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't live in that world.
No.
For me to watch,
and we can't judge.
Yeah. For instance, right now there's in America, I know we didn't really put this in our topics today, but right now in America, there's a truckers convoy that's a protest going on, right? And it's truckers going through different towns and a convoy driving to Washington, D.C. Right?
And they're going through the 10 through New Mexico.
They're going through 10 by you today, right?
The 10. So we're going to stay away from the 10. Let's go.
I would go out there and support them, but I would go out there at least when they drive by. Anyway, but that's my opinion. But when they did it in Canada, hooray for you. I can't stand there and go, well, yeah, they need to do this in Canada. I don't live in Canada.
No.
I don't understand Canada. And this is part of the reason I'm saying this whole conversation here is, it's none of my effing business what they're doing in Mexico, Canada, the Ukraine, Taiwan, China.
No.
It's their country, not mine.
No, it's not us to decide what's right or what's wrong, because
when you come from China and tell us what to do in America, I got a problem with that.
Yes.
I also have a flip problem. When I stand here in America and people have to go to the Ukraine and tell or Russia and tell Putin what to do, I'm sorry. It's not your business. Run our country. And the most we can do is get along. I don't understand Putin, but I'm not going to stand up as the rest of the people world is going, he's wrong. I can't do that. I don't understand his country.
I really feel for the Ukrainians.
I do too.
Really do. And you know, like I said, the memes and the posts and the YouTube videos, I mean, are just, they're heartbreaking, but they're also so much bravery. I mean, I don't know if you saw how the older woman went up to the soldier and said about the sunflower seeds. I mean, it's just, and how they've stood in front of tanks and said, run us over then, because we're fighting. This is our country and we're fighting to keep it. And it's just, I mean, I'm supporting them. I support Ukraine because they're like you. I don't understand why Putin's doing this. I have no idea why. And we don't know the mindset because we're not there. We don't understand it. But I do know, which I did not know this, and I did a little bit of investigating because I didn't realize how rich in resources the Ukraine is and how much it exports to different countries, including ours. Yeah. And I didn't realize, I mean, a lot of people, anytime there's a war, of course, energy prices go up because it's another opportunity to say,
let's not say the energy prices went up because of the war. They've been going up for a year now.
Exactly. This is just another excuse to say, oh, we're going to raise it some more. Yeah. Which, I mean, and the cost of gas right now in California is like $6.65 in some places. That's ridiculous. But
I guess that's why you don't live in California anymore.
That is so true. So true. And it's even going up here, but still, it's not $6.65. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But what I didn't realize in regards to the resources they have and how it can affect some of the businesses as well down the road is they have sunflower. They do sunflower oil, which is
this I did not know, by the way.
Cosmetic industry. And the cosmetic industry is huge out here in the United States, as we know. So that could affect us as well as the
well, let's face it. For the past 2 years, we could have, you know what I mean? We could have not supported the lipstick industry. Yeah. Just saying. And
part of it too is the shipping costs, because they're going to have to reroute flights and they're going to have to reroute ships around what's going on with this war. So shipping costs and to get things out to your clients and so forth, even if it's just in the United States, it's still going to cause problems. And as we know, in California, in the ports, there's still a backlog of things and people are still trying to get those out. Then the big thing, which is affecting my husband, is the automaker shortage, because they have palladium out there and platinum. I can't say it, but it's used for the catalytic.
I don't even know what it is, so I'm not
used for the catalytic converters to build them. So that's another shortage on top of the chip shortage that's going on right now. And then also they have wheat, barley, corn, and fertilizer, which, as we know, is going to affect some of the farming. Granted, we have a lot of it here too, but they also import a lot of it. And also, from what I read, Russia itself accounts for less than 2% of both the global and domestic products. So it's not really going to affect us too much, but it's still, there's going to be companies it's going to affect, because people are starting to take things off the shelf that has anything to do with Russia, including Russian vodka, Russian
God forbid we actually, but then again, there's some good American vodka. But anyway,
I'm just saying, they're taking them off the shelf. So
that's all right. It's March, all right, and we don't have to worry about vodka this month. You know what we drink this month? Irish whiskey.
Yes,
Irish whiskey.
But I'm kind of
hoping Irish whiskey on my desk.
That this ends sooner than later, because it's just so sad to see that, you know, they're bombing. I read the other day that they bombed an opera house and a concert hall, and they're bombing museums. And I mean, this is history that they're taking away from these people. And it's so difficult to watch that it's just, I mean, it's just very disheartening, as well as it just breaks my heart that these people are having to go through this in the first place. But you know, I have to say, kudos to them, and kudos to their a leader that's out that's running the country, because he's doing everything he can to get as much support as he can, and he's being smart about it. I mean, he's just, I mean, they couldn't have asked for, I can't see they couldn't have asked for a better leader. And then, granted, I'm not in the Ukraine and I don't know enough about it, but from what I can see and perceive, it seems like he's really doing his part to help his people and help his country. And my hat's off to him as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, this is what we call, I mean, and that's, we can actually put that in a whole conversation on leadership skills. All right. Jeff Wolf, Jeff Wolf, both of a friend of ours who does, you know what I mean? I forget what he calls his podcast, and he's been doing a whole thing on leadership and talking about this guy. And that's it. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion on leadership that we really, I mean, we could put half the show about it. We could
learn a lot from him and what he's doing. I mean, he's reaching out to the people he needs to reach out to, and asking for the help he needs to get for his country so that he can get this done as quickly as possible and get Putin out.
Yeah. And, so, and I hope he's victorious, but I don't know. Again, I don't know the thing here, but I will go back to something that was said, and most people didn't like who said it. But imagine how less we would be dependent on these guys if we started bringing everything back into America.
I agree.
That was said
totally
by the previous president that a lot of people didn't like. But let's get back to real business. If we had gotten more stuff made, done, put together here in America, we would not have to, well, we wouldn't care who went to war with who.
And the thing is we used to be more of a exporter than an importer. And now we're more of an importer. Importing company than an exporting company. And I think or a company, it is a company, but
a country,
the country, I think, needs to be more of an exporting country than an importing country. And we should be building most of our stuff here, but it all has to do with price. I mean, as a business, you're looking at your price and your cost, and it's cheaper if you do it in Mexico, or it's cheaper if you do it over here, or Thailand, or whatever. It's much cheaper, so that then they can pass that cost down to, or the discount down to, the clients and their business, as well as their customers. But as customers, the hard part is we don't want to pay more. But if we want this stuff to be here, we're going to have to pay more, because that's part of business. It is what it is. That in our country, based on cost and everything, we have to pay more for those people to make those products, build, plant, grow, whatever that is. We're going to have to pay more for that product so that we can say we are a sustaining country. We don't need anything from any other country. We can do it ourselves. We still can, because there's still a lot of places out there in regards to factories that all we have to do is just go in, fix it up, do what we can, get it going, because it used to be there. It's just now depleted, and it's now just sitting there neglected.
Yeah.
And
some of the stuff I look at, like, we're importing stuff from faraway places, right? I actually am redoing my office with new furniture and stuff this year to get more space. So I just put a new filing cabinet in. All this furniture is made in China, all of it. Now my desk that I'm on is made. My desk is made I think in Canada, right?
Yep.
But why are we not working with the countries side by side? When I go to get my avocados, they're from Mexico.
Yep.
All right. Mexico, from where you and I live, is a stone's throw. All right, let's face it. You could probably throw a stone and hit Mexico from your house.
Yep.
All right. I have to walk a little bit to throw a stone to hit them.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But
you might have to
the
take a
idea
bus.
is it's a connecting country.
Yes.
Canada, a connecting country.
Yep.
Here's what most people are not aware of. Russia is a connecting country.
Yep.
Most people don't know. Russia is one of the countries that is closer to America than I want to say it is the second or third closest country to America, because Mexico and Canada touch.
And that's why I think this war for me is so scary, because if this is allowed, what's next? And that's what scares me more than anything. Is that we need to pay attention to what's going on there and do something about it ourselves, so that we can show that solidarity and that, nope, sorry.
Okay. So let's talk about what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing in supporting this. All right. And I'm going to start off with a shouldn't, because it's something my mom and I seen. All right. We see a lot of people who are broadcasting from there. But I also see a lot of people who are starting fundraiser campaigns, GoFundMe. Hey, we're doing a GoFundMe to help the people of Ukraine. Yeah, right. Where's that money really going?
Yeah.
All right. Joe in Albuquerque, New Mexico is doing a fundraiser. Let's face it, Joe, who are you connected to in the Ukraine that money's going there?
Yes.
All right. I love Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney said, I'm supporting, I want to say it's the United Way or something like that, who's sending money there. I'm supporting the Red Cross, who's sending supplies there. When you actually are supporting, I'm going to support the Ukraine, but I'm going to support my buddy John because he's doing a GoFundMe to. Great. How's John actually getting that money to them?
Yeah.
Let's talk about giving money to help the Ukraine to organizations who have the reach to get there already.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to send it to my buddy Katrina, because Katrina, she follows, Sam from the Ukraine on Facebook, so she's raising money.
I got an in with the president of that state, so I'll take care of it.
I follow him on Facebook, so we're in.
I'll get it there.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do we? And that's a good point. How do we support these people when we're over here? Yeah. What is it that we can do to support them? And yes, they're going to need financial support, but they're also going to need, once this is all said and done, and hopefully sooner than later, they're going to need to rebuild, because he's going in and destroying things that they've gone in. And I mean, this country is hundreds and hundreds of years old, and they've got so much history in that country that they're going to have to go in, and they're going to have to piece all this together, and they're going to have to rebuild it. And they're, they've lost so far from what I've read, and this is kind of, hard to tell what's what and what's not, but 2,000 casualties that they've already had in regards to citizens from the Ukraine that have lost their lives because of this war. That to me is not condoned. But like you said, we don't know what Putin's thinking, but from the outside looking at it, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no freaking sense.
Anytime a life is lost, it's tragic, all right?
Yeah.
That is part of our world. It's tragic. I can get emotionally involved in it. It's tragic. The life is lost, but it's part of our world. Yeah. But, let's go into ways that you think we should support them, because it really, the GoFundMe campaigns here in the United States, no. But, I love the idea that some states, I don't know if they're doing it out there in your town, but some of the states, I think El Paso might be, where they actually have like bridges and stuff like that have lights. They're putting the blue and yellow lights up together. We really, to support, we can show that we care. But we could have made our background yellow and blue today. You know what I mean? Just to show that's things you can do. Is going, I stand with
solidarity.
Yeah. So those are things that don't cost us to do. And it really gives them, shall we say, gives them inspiration and hope. Right? That's the best thing that any of us can do, is share with them. Hey, we're
here for you. We're here for you.
All right.
We feel for you. Whatever you need from us, you let us know. But we're supporting your efforts.
Yeah. The connecting countries. Now, if you lived in a connecting country, the things that you should do. One of the stuff you should do is, how can I get food into these people? How can I get, medical supplies into these people.
Supplies, which is what they're going to need.
Yeah,
they're going to
they can sneak them across the border and get them in.
We're going to need blood for the people that are injured.
Yeah.
All of these things. That's how we can help in a lot of respects. But I think the solidarity is the biggest thing that I've been seeing is that they and this is what I read, which I thought was interesting. This is the first war that Russia's gone to where the people do not agree. The whole country, the whole world does not agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten to that point where he's not very popular right now at all. And he's making more enemies than and I think it's really going to cause him a lot of problems down the road. A lot. Mm-hmm. It might be his demise because
might be.
So, but that's and
again,
like
that's their country.
Like we've talked about, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And
sometimes that reason is one person was a bully and an idiot. But anyway.
But either way, everything happens for a reason to make us stronger, to make us more united, to make us look at our own lives in such a way that are we showing up the way we need to show up on a daily basis for our family, for our business, for our clients. I mean, and I think that's the lesson we take out of this is that yes, things are going to happen in the world that we can't control, but we sure as hell can at least show our solidarity and show that we're behind them and that, we agree with what they're trying to do and that they're people and how brave they are. I mean, I've read things left and right, how they've thanked people from the United States and everywhere else around the world and saying, thank you for all your solidarity. It means so much to us and that you're there for us. And I think that's huge. That right there, I think is the biggest thing they need is hope and knowing that they're not alone in this.
So, true. So, and I actually looked it up. Do you know how big the Ukraine is?
I think if I read, it's bigger than Texas.
Just a little bit bigger than Texas.
Yeah, it's bigger than Texas. It's a little bit bigger than Texas. And Texas is a big ass state. I'm just saying, it's big. And like I said, I didn't realize how many resources they had that a lot of us use that that's going to cause that domino effect.
Let's put this into perspective. All right. I don't know the full history of the Ukraine and Russia. I don't. All right. I've not studied it, even though my family actually originates from there.
Really?
But yeah, my family originates from my mom was telling me from the Ukraine, but she doesn't know where. But I mean, the we can't find the records to go where she came from.
Yeah.
Originally, I thought it was further into Russia, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
But the resources of the Ukraine. Let's put this into the aspect that if the Ukraine becomes part of Russia, all right, and let's put it in the aspect of our country. Imagine the state of California going off and being its own country.
Yeah.
California, all right, is one of the big resources we have because a lot of food is grown there. Huh?
It's number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 in regards to the biggest resource, biggest money, biggest place where
it's easy to be biggest money. It's easy to be biggest money when you charge that much in taxes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the second most economic, the biggest economical state in the United States.
But anyway, imagine California going off and being its own country. Now look at the prices of food in the rest of the United States.
Yep.
The prices of food are going to go up because now we have to import them from another country.
That's literally right next door.
It's really right next door. Now take it into perspective of the fact that if we're a country and our president decides, okay, those resources would really be easier for us if we actually had that was part of our country. Let's go to war with California. That's what's in a nutshell. What's kind of going on?
Yep.
Right. And that's it. It's what the resources is. It's like 340 miles by 750 miles is the size of it. All right. 340 or 750 is almost the width of I-10 in Texas. right? It's just under 700 miles in Texas. That's the width of the I-10. It's not the full width of the state because it does one of these numbers. So,
yeah,
but that's the length of it, how wide it is. All right. 340 miles. That's north corner to the south of Texas.
I agree. Yep.
So you look at that and go, that's a huge impact of size wise, right?
And resources, huge effective resources.
Yeah. But if the resources of the world weren't there, right now we have how much stuff comes in from China, Taiwan, Korea, Mexico. If you had to feed yourself, what would you do? I mean, let's go back to what originally happened in our world. All right. We didn't have the supermarket. All right. No. My great ancestors who came here, they had a farm. They raised their meat. They had to kill it.
They grew their own vegetables.
Yep. They had to raise the vegetables in the garden. Yep. They had to can them because they couldn't raise the vegetables in the winter if you lived in New England.
Yep. Yeah.
So you had to can them so you had vegetables in the summertime or in the wintertime. Like, these are things that we don't think about. I remember as a kid getting strawberries in the summertime.
Yeah, my grandma grew strawberries in the garden. We'd have strawberries, lettuce. I mean, I think we take the market, we take those things for granted. We just know they're going to be there. And we forget that what we can do on our own, even just to help our family and our local neighbors. Because you can share that, because as we know, once you start that garden, it really starts to flourish, and you can't eat all that food, but you can certainly share it with your neighbors and your family. So, I mean, there's a lot we can do to sustain ourselves if we need to, but it's a matter of a lot of people. And I mean, we got YouTube. We can go on YouTube and figure out how to put a garden together, the YouTube University. I mean, there's a lot of resources we have at hand that we can put in place to help each other. It's just a matter of doing it and knowing that we can't take things for granted. We just can't. We can't even take our daily freedoms for granted. I mean, I'm going to tell you this, and I thought this was quite interesting because I didn't think it was an issue. We had some people that were protesting on the corners. And at first we thought, because there's the Roe versus Wade and how that's going on and so forth. And we thought that's what it was. Oh, no. It is evidently about the mutilation of men when they're
circumcised.
And that it was against circumcision, and how you're mutilating the man's penis, and it's the man's penis, it's his right to decide. Okay, well, we can talk about the women's side too. So like, I never even heard this. I didn't even think it was an issue. And we're driving by. Here's this war going on in Ukraine, and they're worried about the mutilation of the penis. And I'm thinking,
let's just say this.
But like, oh my God.
Let's just say this in America. All right, it all comes down for most men to their penis. No.
I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing.
Okay, I did. All right, but let me tell you how I know. My father-in-law was big on this, and I'm going to tell you why. My father-in-law was huge on this. This was a big matter to him. After my mother-in-law passed away, he did some research and got connected to these groups. And they used to have a meeting at our house to where, like, there was demonstrations at the kitchen table.
Oh my God.
Not to gross you out, but here's why my father-in-law got active in this. And this is a serious thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not putting it down. I thought it was weird at the time. My father-in-law grew up during World War II. He was he lived in Belgium. What's Belgium? I don't even know what country that. Anyway, yeah, but that's where Europe. Yeah, in Europe. He was in a school where basically he was taken away with the Jewish kids to go to a concentration camp to be killed. And one of the teachers had to speak up and say, no, he's not Jewish. The reason that he was taken away was what they would do is because the Jews were circumcised.
Yeah.
They made the boys drop their pants.
Oh.
He was circumcised because his aunt or something found him playing with himself and said he was a sinner. So to label yourself as a sinner, you get circumcised.
Circumcised.
So, I mean,
but that doesn't happen now. I mean, now
no, it does not happen now.
Your baby.
Yeah, it does not happen now, and in America, it's just been a thing of some families did it, some families didn't.
Yeah.
But for my father-in-law, all right, and the group of people who are protesting this, that's where stuff like this roots back to.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Yeah, somebody got damaged in the past. It's almost like, you know what I mean? It's almost like, you know what I mean? In your world, all right, as a woman, you might have a group of women who would talk about being battered and supporting each other. Why? Because one of those women got sick of being beat up by an asshole husband, to put it nicely. Yep. All right. Yep. And decided to stand up and help other women. So all of them join together, and it becomes a problem because they realize there's more than one.
I get it.
Same idea here. Any problem that we're protesting in America is that's why. It's something rooted in 1 to 2 people found out this was a problem, and there was more than one of them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's the beauty of America too, is that you can protest something. And I never knew this was an issue. And I just thought, wow, that's a first.
There's a lot of things which maybe we should have our listeners tell us. There's a lot of things in our world that are issues that you and I don't know about. Why? No, maybe it's because maybe it's because my opening joke was, all right, well, just like that, COVID's gone. Maybe it's because we have blinders put on our eyes because we've been watching ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, and we take their view onto it. And this is our view of the world, right?
Yeah, we need to stop looking through a tunnel and open our eyes wide, because there's a 45 degree that we need to be looking at instead of look everywhere.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons that I have fully and always been about freedom of speech, and I interview people on my podcast that I don't always agree with. Why? Freedom of speech. I don't have to agree with you. If you found a reason to do this and to put a mission together to become an influencer, I want to tell the world about you, whether I agree with you or not.
I agree.
Freedom of speech.
I agree. And that's part of leadership. That's part of leading a business too, is you don't have to agree with everything your customers talk about or their opinions or their political beliefs. All you have to do is run a business based on what kind of value or you're providing for that client that's helping them. It doesn't matter what they believe in or anything else. It matters that you have that relationship going on. That's
right.
They have their beliefs, you have your beliefs. And that's why sometimes in business it's kind of difficult, because as a business owner, especially when you have a business that's starting to get bigger and now it's starting to get out there. I mean, there's businesses that have been sued. They've had class action suits against them because of their beliefs. Mm-hmm. And because they have taken those beliefs and they put them into their business and they've said, no, we're not going to do this, or no, we're not going to do that. So then, like these groups, they start to protest that. And then before you know it, now it becomes this big thing. And now everybody's seeing one side and the other side. And now this business becomes a contested business because of their belief systems as the owners.
Yeah.
Doesn't jive with all of their customers. And a couple customers now are saying that's not right. So now we're going to go in and we're going to protest and we're going to, and just like with anything, problem, issue, protest, it starts as a little pebble until pretty soon more start to build up, and then more start to build up. And then before you know it, you've got this little pebbles, this big, huge mountain that everybody's saying, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea that exists. I had no idea I had no idea. Just like this protest, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it starts is with that one little pebble, and then it starts to build. So as business owners, that's something that you have to grapple with. And that's why I tell my clients all the time, when you're doing things on social media, and I know some people believe the opposite, but I believe that you keep your personal and your business separate, because it doesn't matter. I mean, yes, it matters what your opinion is for yourself, but you shouldn't try and push that onto your clients or your customers.
You're right.
business. That's all you're doing is a business, and you're just providing services or products, whatever the case may be. They don't need to know what your political affiliation or anything else is. All they know is they're buying this from you, and that's it. And you should keep them separate. And I totally still to this day believe that, and I've seen businesses that have totally lost a lot of clients because they said something on social media that now customers are, I'm done. I'm out of this. No, not doing this.
I have a great friend who I probably agree more with him politically than I don't agree with him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of on the same side as him. And yet 2016 was 17 was the end of our relationship because of something he said about, about one of our former presidents. And I would not stand for it. I said, I'm sorry. I will not stand for that. I will not let you broadcast that on my Facebook page. And I'm sorry that I will not accept that.
Yeah. I mean, it's your community. And so you have to be careful. Right. You have to protect that community. That's your community. That's your business. That's your community. And you have to protect that. And when somebody comes in with their views, trying to push them on other people.
Yeah.
That's your community, not theirs. If they want to do it on theirs, that's a different story. But I think that's kind of the hardest part with social media is people have so many ideas and so many opinions. And that's what it is, an opinion. It's their opinion. It's how they see it. Doesn't mean it's right for everybody, like we talked about at the very beginning. So if we shouldn't push our opinions on other people. It's just a matter of you have your opinion, I have mine. We talk about it, and that's it. Done.
Yep. Done. So, I want to kind of wind down our show here to our close. All right. And we have one note here that I'm sorry. We have to close with this one.
I know. Isn't this great? This is the best thing. So I found this out, and I know there are some people out there that know this.
Yeah, but I know this because I'm an alcoholic.
I know, but the solo cups, the red and the blue solo cups that people use for drinking and all stuff, they have different lines on them. And of course, people thought it was for alcohol. And each line represents a measurement. So the first line represents, I think it's an ounce. The second line represents, I think it's 5 ounces. And then the last line represents 12 ounces. And what that in a lot of people's mindset was, okay, the ounces for pouring liquor, so that if you want a shot, and then the 5 ounce was for wine, and the 12 ounce was for beer. And that's what they thought. Actually, the company came out and said, no, that is not right. That actually, the first line was for measuring your mouthwash, so you could rinse. The second line was for measuring for cereal. And the third line was how much water a day you should be drinking.
Well, all right, wait. No, I've actually got to show you guys.
I thought it was pretty clever, and I thought, okay.
Capture your screen, follow these.
And steps. Then we measure those lines. They measure exactly an ounce, 5 ounces, and 12 ounces.
All right, I actually have to go fix something, so I can't share my screen right now. Anyway, I had a picture that I was going to share of the solo cup that says shot, wine, beer.
Yep. But the company says that's not really why those lines were put in place.
Sure, whatever the company says, yeah.
We didn't put that in place for you alkies to drink. We put it in place for good, wholesome things. Mouthwash, cereal, and water.
Sure.
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, okay.
I mean, come on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
My mouthwash, I just swallow it afterwards.
Yeah, you don't want to swallow your I lost my train of thought. You don't want to swallow your mouthwash. That's not good.
I'm sorry. I mean, when you wash your mouth out with whiskey and bourbon, yeah, it's no problem. I'm telling you.
Then you're going to swallow, yeah. But mouthwash, not so much. Not so much. Although it does have alcohol in it. Although they're starting to.
It does. All right. And I went to visit as a teenager. I went to visit this. What do they call the like missions for alcoholics in New York City. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were talking about donations they got. And one of the donations they got was like Listerine mouthwash. And the guy said that was the first axe. We had to get rid of that real quick. And they're like, why? They're just washing their mouth out because there's guys so desperate for alcohol, they were swigging that behind it.
Yeah, they drink it. It's got a lot of alcohol in it, and they drink it.
And there was it's funny because one of the jobs I had as a teenager was working on a friend of the family's who had a trash company, like picking up trash in the Poconos.
Oh, it says so much about you, Tim. I'm just saying.
I know it does. As a matter of fact, it was my dad's best friend for life, and I'm not sure if he's even still alive. I think he passed away recently too. But I worked on his trash trucks in the summertime, right? And we had a guy work the trash trucks with us that he was a driver. He was a man's man, if you know what I mean by the 60, 70 man's man. And he said, and he had this statement he used to tell us kids, you're not a real man until you could drink half a cup of brute aftershave.
Oh my God.
We made fun of him as kids, yeah, because it's like, yeah, you're not a real man until you could drink some brute aftershave.
Oh my God, why? No, thank you. I'm good. Thanks very much. But
okay, so but yeah, finishing up though, I'm actually looking for I finally built out in a decorative fashion in the corner of my office my moonshine / whiskey bar, and I'm trying to find a nice decanter and glass set to put on the top of the bar. But I mean, let's see if I can show the audience with my camera flipping abilities real quick.
look at that. Okay.
So when you hear me say, ladies and gentlemen, Tim has a moonshine whiskey bar, that's the bar in my office. But anyway,
I'll have to look around because there is a couple of shops in the little town of Nicaea out here that have some really cool stuff.
Now, the one that I'm looking at that I'm thinking about getting is it's the Constitution and etched on the glasses and the decanter.
Nice.
And I found it because I'm a big fan. The new TV show that my wife and I are watching is called Yellowstone. I don't know if you've become a fan yet. By the way,
I started watching it. I got to go back and look at it again.
Taylor Sheridan. All right, this guy he's a genius. All right, he has a way of going, and that's the way he's telling the way he tells the stories in these things. But Yellowstone, our biggest thing. We love it because it's a part of America that's rooted in America, right? Type deal is why it's a great story. But like they had Yellowstone cups. I thought about it, but I'm like, no, I don't want Yellowstone cups. But the same company had these other ones that I'm very patriotic and I love like the Constitution. I'm not a fan of the American flag on things. I think the American flag should be a flag and flying free. But I love the look of the American flag because I'm not patriotic about my flag. But I may get it with the Texas flag on. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to go with the Constitution. They have one that say like "We the People" and big letters, and that's probably what. I'm going to get a decanter set so I can have some. I mean, I can have a decanter there with some whiskey into it and 2 cups, and I just have to clean the cups out. When I have someone over in the office, I can have a cup of whiskey.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So anyway, that's Tim's. So, and yeah, Tim's in the middle of rearranging, redoing his entire office. This probably in the next week that will be gone. This whole I'm changing the backdrop up a bit.
Nice. So. Well, when we move into our new house, it will be a lot different than what you see behind me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but yeah, and I'm setting the office up a little more organized. And the reason I'm doing some of this is I've got filing cabinet. I'm changing filing cabinets out because I need 4 or 5 different sections of filing cabinets to partition stuff off.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing this. What's going back here is going to be a shelves, but on the bottom's filing cabinets, and then a drawer to put things in. Because like, if you look at my office, it's like clean. All right. Yeah. Well, all of it was stuffed in a junk drawer. All right. Well, I'm moving my drawers around. So
my office, I'm stuck in a corner.
Wow. Yeah. So
They put baby in the corner.
imagine putting baby in the corner. So in the coming weeks, let's talk about this, where we're going with the show. All right, as we close out today. In the coming weeks, we're trying to make this a unique show. It's something that Katrina and I in a conversation started. I can remember, was like last July. We've always wanted to do a show with somebody, and we found to try it with each other. This show is not perfect, guys. We're trying to find a niche and trying to find a way to do it. Today's discussion is kind of a way I want to keep going. How do you feel about that?
I agree. Well, we're taking a news topic, and then we're talking about how it's affecting businesses across the board, entrepreneurs, whatever, and then ending it with a really fun key fact that a lot of people don't really know. They may know, they may not know, but it's something that, we're hoping you learn something from it in regards to a news tip that you may have already seen, or a news topic, and how it will help you in regards to your business or hinder, whichever the case may be, as well as, like I said, the ending it with a really fun fact that we hope you will enjoy, take away, that maybe you can talk about at a party. Hey, I guess what I found out about the solo cup. I can measure an ounce, 5 ounces, 12 ounces.
You can be like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Interesting fact about the toast.
Exactly. Or you could be like Cliff Clavin in Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
So, the solo cup is actually, he's full of information. So I'm just saying, it's so we're hoping that, you guys will learn from this, and that's part of the whole process. And
we want to learn, but we want to have fun, but we want to talk about
fun with it.
Exactly. All right. I'm not doing this podcast to try to get $1 million in business. No, I'm doing this podcast. This is one. I have 2 fun podcasts. This is one of my fun podcasts to do, to talk about a subject. All right. And then I have a fun one I do on Monday nights where I talk about, we talk alcohol. We drink. Yeah, it's fun. Well, my other podcast is fun too, because I get to interview and meet people, and rather than do one-on-ones, I do one-on-ones with a camera on, and I love doing that. So anyway, that's my idea of a one-on-one. But other than that, this is a fun podcast, but I'm not trying to do this to get 1 million views. All right. But it's our businesses that bring this to being. All right. Which let me bring this one up here, and you can tell people about what you do, and then I'll finish out.
So I'm KG Website Designs, and what we do is we help build a website that gets you leads, makes you money, and helps you grow your business.
Cool. So my name's Tim Gillette, all right, and I do simple, easy events, but you can find more about me at timgillette.com. Guys, my business, Tim Gillette Media, is all about helping you get your message out there, from creating funnels to creating podcasts, whatever it is. Build something that actually is fun to do and will bring you traffic that will get you results in your business.
Yep.
Cool. Anyway.
Yay.
So another week is done. We'll be back next Thursday. Yes, we will be back next Thursday. All right. 10 a.m. Central Time, or 9 a.m., whatever time zone you're
wherever time you are.
Yeah, whatever time you are. So anyway, and then in 2 weeks, I'm going to find a way to do it. But in 2 weeks, I'm on the road, but we're going to try to find a way to take stuff with me to take a break and do a podcast. So anyway, I'm Tim Gillette, timgillette.com.
And I'm Katrina Garcia with KG Website Designs, and we hope you enjoyed this episode.
All right. Bye, guys. See you next week.